Now, your forecast first from KARK4, your weather authority.
Well, Arkansas, seems like we jumped from summer right into winter. It was blustery and cold today, down into the 30s tonight. Freeze warnings in effect for parts of the state. KARK4 News at 6 starts now.
Coming up, a hospital emergency room shut down for several hours. Find out why one patient is to blame. Next, wild animals on the loose in Ohio. Find out why it'll only take $250 to get an exotic animal right here in Arkansas. Plus, with an 8.3% state unemployment rate, find out what new ideas are being proposed at a job summit.
Now, from the station you count on. In-depth, investigative coverage of today's biggest stories. This is KARK4 News at 6 in high definition.
Good evening to you, and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jessica Dean. Bob has the night off. We begin with a man who was contaminated with dangerous chemicals and forced the shutdown of the only emergency room in 3 counties. It happened in Hempstead County at the Medical Park Hospital in Hope. KARK4's Lauren Traeger is back from Hope with this story that's new at 6. Hi, Lauren.
Jessica, well, to have an entire emergency room shut down for about 7 hours is pretty rare, and as you can imagine, it's bad news for anyone in that community that was needing treatment at that time. But the circumstances surrounding the shutdown could in fact be a sign of a more alarming trend.
You know, it's obvious that you don't want any kind of chemicals introduced into an environment like that.
Hempstead County Sheriff James Singleton says early Tuesday morning, the emergency room at Medical Park Hospital in Hope had to be shut down. A man who'd been dropped off there had first told staff a battery had blown up on him. But after nearly an hour inside, he fessed up to something else entirely.
He then told the ER people that a meth lab had blown up on him.
A hazmat team was quickly called in to decontaminate the entire ER. When they arrived, they discovered their biggest concern: the man had been covered with anhydrous ammonia, a very dangerous gas.
It can make you dizzy, watery eyes, and cause nausea, vomiting, things like that.
Some hospital staffers reportedly felt their skin and eyes burning. The chemical can also cause lung damage.
We hadn't seen anything like that lately.
What's concerning, Sheriff Singleton says, this could signal a resurgence of this method of cooking meth. Anhydrous ammonia, found in some fertilizers and refrigerants, was commonly used in the 90s for what was called the Nazi method of making meth. Then producers started switching to pseudoephedrine, cheaper and far less dangerous. Risks of explosion and exposure to the general public much higher with anhydrous ammonia.
We need to find this lab.
Addressing this bigger problem will come later. Because of the man's injuries, the sheriff says they haven't interviewed him yet. The meth lab that exploded could be nearly anywhere, and first, they must find it.
That's our main concern right now, is the safety of the citizens, to locate where this lab was or where this cook was. And once we get that done, we'll follow through with the investigation.
Now, other law enforcement agencies I spoke with say they too believe that anhydrous ammonia may be making a comeback among meth makers, perhaps because of the crackdown on the sale of pseudoephedrine, but most say it is just too soon to tell right now. Jessica.
Well, Lauren, we know that there are meth arrests across the state. Is it a concern for other hospitals across the state that this could be a problem?
Yeah, we certainly looked into that. We're told that sometimes if an individual speaks up right away that they may have been contaminated, they can actually be decontaminated outside, say outside the facility or maybe in an ambulance before they ever get into a hospital. And then it does seem that some hospitals are maybe a little bit better equipped at handling this than others. UAMS, for example, we call them. They actually have a decontamination suite where these people can be safely treated for their injuries and not expose anyone else to these dangerous chemicals. Smaller hospitals, though, maybe in more rural areas, they don't have those kinds of resources. Now, it must be mentioned that the Medical Park Hospital in Hope did decline our request for an interview today. Jessica.
All right, Lauren Traeger tonight. Thanks so much. A burning pile of cardboard stalls traffic on Interstate 30 after a deadly 18-wheeler accident. Officials say Lewis Hamilton died after he ran off the road at exit 48 on I-30 near Prescott yesterday about 6:20 in the evening. His cargo, bales of cardboard that caught fire in the crash and burned well into the afternoon. One lane of traffic was shut down. Officials say the cardboard was so tightly packed, every time they tried to move that debris, The fire flared up again. The metal on the trailer and the cab also melted. More than 40 animals have been shot and killed in Ohio. They're some of the 50 exotic animals that escaped from a preserve after the owner reportedly unlocked their cages, freed them, and then killed himself. KARK4's Bakari Savage takes a look tonight at our laws here in Arkansas prohibiting the ownership of these types of animals. And he's live at the Little Rock Zoo right now. Hi, Bakari.
Hey, Jessica, I'm here because this is where most people come to see what you usually only find out in the wild. But for $250 a year, you can get a little piece of the wild in your very own backyard. Large carnivores like lions and tigers are among the ones that are banned in the state, unless you get a permit. Again, you can get one of those permits for $250. Then you have primates, monkeys, apes, and gorillas that are actually legal to have in Arkansas. You come to the zoo, you see how adorable they are when they're young, but you have to remember, they're going to grow up, and that's when you have problems.
These animals can potentially be dangerous, and you lead yourself into a situation where if they were to get out, we have a situation that we're dealing with right now in Ohio.
And there was a highly publicized incident back in 2009 in Connecticut when a woman was mauled by a chimp. It was shot and killed. Now, the zoo does have the zoo does have procedures in place to tranquilize these animals safely if they were to get out. But the big problem is that other people in places, they actually don't. Live in Little Rock, Bakari Savage, KARK4 News.
Now to a KARK4 News update. The FBI says a total of 45 people are now in state or federal custody in connection with Operation State Line Sweep. That's the major drug trafficking bust that took place in Texarkana yesterday. The FBI says 26 people are still at large in connection with that operation. To find out who else is wanted, you can visit our website, arkansasmatters.com. A deadly unsolved shooting now has a suspect. North Little Rock police say Daryl Esau turned himself into authorities. He's charged with first-degree murder in connection with the deadly shooting October 11th at Hemlock Court. Jeremy Flemons was killed in that shooting. Esau is currently at the Pulaski County Detention Center being held with no bond. A local humane society still struggling to find homes for dozens of cats rescued from an elderly couple's home this summer. The rescue group is located in Faulkner County, and that's where KARK4's Brittany Johnson spoke with volunteers about where they get the resources to fund those operations. Brittany?
Well, Jessica, people may hear the title Humane Society of Pulaski County or Faulkner County, and then they assume that they're all related, but that's just not true. Even the Humane Society of the United States is its very own entity. Today, the Center for Consumer Freedom released a report saying donors may be confused when donating to the Humane Society of the United States, thinking most of the money will then trickle down to local groups. Shirley Jarman with the Humane Society of Faulkner County says no, they're not under the same umbrella, but they do benefit from materials, trainings, and grants from the Humane Society of the United States.
There is no Humane Society in the sky. There's no big brother. You are your own entity. All of us are volunteers, and we operate with donations and fundraisers, and that's where our money comes from.
Now, in response to this report, the Humane Society of the United States pointed us to this statement saying, quote, our mission tackling the large-scale cruelties beyond the reach of our local humane societies. Also, this group that put out the report represents food and restaurant companies. People here locally say after trying to help rescue or place local animals, it may be best to donate to local organizations. Back to you.
All right, good advice, Brittany. Thank you. The economy and unemployment, of course, major issues in the U.S. today, and with unemployment rates still holding at 9% nationally and 8.5% statewide, plenty of politicians are offering plans, but nothing's quite clear. Today, Congressman Tim Griffin wrapped up his 25 town halls with a job summit and has this to say about plans proposed by Senator Pryor and President Barack Obama.
There may be some good things in there that we can agree on. I got to take a closer look at that. But the question is, will they address the fundamental long-term problems?
And we'll add those are two separate proposals. Griffin says he wants to use the feedback from people and business owners to target opportunities for creating jobs in Arkansas. It is almost time for students in the Pulaski County Special School District to get their flu shots. It's a KARK 4 News update. Flu shot clinics will take place on October 25th from 2:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the following schools you see on your screen: Jacksonville High School, Maumelle Middle School, Clinton Elementary School, Mills High School, and Robinson High School. There's no charge for the shots, which are being held in conjunction with the State Department of Health. The immunizations will be administered by the Health Department and PCSSD school nurses. Still to come tonight, a culinary cook-off in Little Rock, why these teens are in a cooking competition to be top chef.
I'm Carrie O'Hara. He's been solid in the postseason, but his Cardinals ace Chris Carpenter dealing with an elbow injury. What he has to say about the rumors. Plus, a new high school rivalry is born, and this trophy, plus college scholarships, are up for grabs. We're going to tell you about it, and I have a preview of Week 8 of Fearless Friday.
Well, highs today were 30 degrees colder than what we saw just a couple of days ago. In fact, today's high of 59 in Little Rock is our average high for late November. We're down to the 30s tonight, a freeze warning in effect for parts of Arkansas. The details are coming up.
You're watching KARK 4 News at 6 with Bob Clausen, Jessica Dean, Chief Meteorologist Keith Monahan, and Sports with Carrie O'Hara.